you ever done knitting a knitting technique called assigned pooling with hand-dyed yarn? So a knitting buddy of mine told me about this technique. I had never done it before, and I was really interested in doing it. And I finished my first assigned pooling project with mini florets. Look at this. I am absolutely tickled with this pattern and this technique of assigned pooling. Just giving you a minute to take that in. It's so pretty. So a friend of mine, a knitting buddy, told me about assigned pooling. I'd never done it before. And so she shared with me yarn from uh, Feisty Fibers, and it is actually classic sock. And the colorway this time for this was Magnolia. And this yarn actually had on the tag, it said pooling. So it is specific for people who want to do this technique of knitting. And I needed to find a pattern for a scarf that was only for a skein of yarn because that's what I had available to me with this hand-dyed yarn from um, Feisty Fibers. And so I started to look online through Ravelry and I found The Bright Side by Lori B. And this pattern was actually made for a specific yarn. And I'm just checking my notes on Ravelry. It was specifically made for Alexandra, the Art of Yarn, Dark Side of the Moon, so that every time you came across the different color of that yarn, you would then purl. And if you were on the purl side and you came across the color, you would knit. So I thought it would work perfect, that pattern, for pooling. And what I did was I knit on one side, I purled on the other side, and I followed her pattern. It started at one end. Yeah, just taking a look here. It started at one end, and you gradually increase on every row. And she has this beautiful edging that you can see there um, as you go across and increase on the bright side. And every time I came across that magnolia color, I would make the mini florets. And that's what assigned pooling is. You are just knitting uh, the regular color on your hand-dyed yarn. And when you get to the fancier color or the color that's pooled, that's when you do what they call the mini florets. And they're just little flowers. And I looked up on YouTube and I came across a video by Vicky Howell, and I'll put the link in below. And I watched her video on how to make these mini florets. And it's really very simple to do. It's almost like knitting a bauble, but you can make it, and you can make it a number of different sizes. You are moving from the right to the left-hand side and so on, but it's just so, so pretty. Look at those little mini florets. I did get better as I went along, but what I loved about this pattern is you could start, I think I was casting on 5 to start. It was pretty simple. And then you're constantly increasing and you just go until you are going to run out of yarn. And what I did, so I was going from that very bottom all the way up. And as I went, I had this little eyelet piece happening. And so when I got to the very end, when I was ready to cast off, I thought, you know what? I'm going to knit one, knit two together, knit one, knit two together, and yarn over. Sorry. Knit one, knit two together, yarn over, knit one, knit two together, yarn over. And then I went on the reverse side and purled into those yarn overs, and then I did a cast off, and that allowed me to have a similar cast off edge as I did to the edging that was in the shawl the whole way along. So I was really happy with that cast off method. So maybe something that you want to try as well. The bright side took a full skein of yarn, so that's 100 grams, roughly 400 meters. I used, and I'm just reading my notes here that I've written down. It calls for 3.75 millimeter needles. I have uh, those needles in my kit for the interchangeables. So I used 3.75 millimeter needles. That's a US 5. And I used the Feisty Fibers classic sock yarn called Magnolia. I didn't change anything except for the way that I cast off. What I learned was those beautiful mini florets and the assigned pooling to make them. And yeah, that's this beautiful little gift that I now have that I can give to someone in the future. Would I make this again? Absolutely. I'm going to say yes. What I think is really great about this is one, it's so pretty and dainty. Uh, and you can knit this when you're not reading a book, but listening to a book, when you're in a yarn circle, when you're traveling, because there's no pattern to memorize. You're increasing on each knit row, and then you are pooling whenever the color comes along. So there's no need to think or carry a pattern with you. I think this is a great piece to do in the car watching TV or in a yarn circle. So that is The Bright Side by Lori B. Thanks, Lori, for the free pattern. It's on Ravelry, and I think it's a great opportunity to learn a new technique. So try out assigned pooling.